Now I've got a new file. So I'm going to replace this. Probably won't need this point transform, so I'm going to disable it for a second. Oop. Oh, it breaks everything. Okay, so let me just... So when you bring a file in, it's got XYZ, and then it's got RGB. This one has normals too, which is interesting. So point file select. I've got the colors here. And if we just home... All right. Here we are. Crazy. So I probably shouldn't have left this move leaves thing in because it's not really necessary for this. So I'm going to get rid of that. Relink this. And look at what we have here. So I don't need this point file transform anymore. I don't need this because that's the old point cloud. We'll leave the selector in there because it's useful for things like that. But let's have a look at what we've got. So clearly we have some sort of shrine or maybe graveyard. I don't know. I downloaded so many random point clouds. First thing I'm going to do is just adjust our rendering settings because everything's looking a bit like chunky to me. And actually, what resolution are we rendering at? 1080 by 1350. I'm just going to change this to a little higher resolution. Maybe go times 2. Ah, that's interesting. So you can see times 2. Okay. So you can see that actually affects how the points look. They already look a lot smaller and less chunky, which is great. Now, I like this point cloud a bit, but there's one thing I don't really like about it is that it's not really got any way to move the camera in an interesting way. So like maybe you could follow the path. Like if we go down and get into the path, you could follow through the path, but there's not really much detail around everything. But this is a good angle to view to change our point sprite. Because see how these dots are smaller here and then larger in the background? We can adjust that. So the far point scale is going to be near point scale can be 1. Just get a little bit more depth. All right, there are some cool views. If we like look this arcball camera is sometimes a little bit hard to navigate with. Yeah, so looking this way, there are some cool views. I think I do want to do the thing with the moving leaves. So let's just copy that from our last one. Bring it in here. In. Okay. Obviously far too much. And something you also notice is that like the point scale, like you can see how the noise is at a different scale to how it was in the last one that we were working on. So what I need to do is zero in a little bit more with my chroma, because I'm just going to put it down a ramp so I can get the chroma values out. All right, so green is from basically 80 to 150. 80 to... Okay, now what's moving that shouldn't be? Like there's a bit too much on the ground here that's moving, so I wonder if we take the saturation. There we are. Now we're getting movement only in the more saturated areas. It would be nice if we've been avoiding point clouds so far. Yeah, I can see why you'd avoid point clouds. They're a bit finicky, but they can be quite cool. I sort of try to avoid artwork that's like using a technology for the sake of using it. Like I feel a lot of art these days is made with technology, and the only reason that it's an artwork that anybody cares about is because of the technology behind it. And sometimes I feel a bit that way with point clouds, because it's just like, oh, so you can do point clouds? Wow. But yeah, the parts that trail off, no, is it possible to clean up a point cloud? Yeah, absolutely. So like you can definitely do stuff. If I put in a, let me just arrange this a bit better. I think this is pretty good with the movement up here. Like that's pretty convincing to me. So if I put in a limit and you just change it to clamp, boom, the point cloud gets clamped. So I just clamped it in the minimum. So if I move this, you can see I'm sort of like moving these walls around. So that's one way to like cut off an area. I mean, that doesn't quite cut it off, but you can see that yeah, it's like that's a sort of a cool effect actually. I like that. Let me just get a better viewpoint if we look this way. And then we adjust this value. That's interesting. But another way to do that would be, what am I gonna do? Trying to do here? Get a threshold. And so then, let's say in the X direction or the Y direction. Let's start cut the top of this. So anything less than 0.5. This. All right, this should work. And if we multiply this by the color, not a perfect way to do it, but yeah, it cuts out. We've cut out the floor, and then you can adjust this threshold. And then you can see that, oh, so you can do point clouds. And then you can see that, oh, so you can do point clouds. And then you can see that, oh, so you can do point clouds. And then you can see that, oh, so you can do point clouds. And then you can see that, oh, so you can do point clouds. And then you can see that, oh, so you can do point clouds. And then you can see that, oh, so you can do point clouds. And then you can see that, oh, so you can do point clouds. And then you can see that, oh, so you can do point clouds. And then you can see that, oh, so you can do point clouds. And then you can see that, oh, so you can do point clouds. And then you can see that, oh, so you can do point clouds. And then you can see that, oh, so you can do point clouds. And then you can see that, oh, so you can do point clouds. And then you can see that, oh, so you can do point clouds. And then you can see that, oh, so you can do point clouds. And then you can see that, oh, so you can do point clouds. And then you can see that, oh, so you can do point clouds. And then you can see that, oh, so you can do point clouds. And then you can see that, oh, so you can do point clouds. And and you've only got like the top of the point cloud or something. And then you can adjust the threshold down and get the rest of it. And we can go even lower. So you're sort of starting to cut away parts of the point cloud that way. Technically, you're not cutting them away, you're just changing them to black, but it's the same. Like this, you can still see the points are still there, but they're just black now. But I think if you change the on the geo, all right, so active is the alpha channel of this. So if I change this to anything with an alpha of less than a certain amount is going to get removed. So yeah, that's how you'd get rid of different aspects. I'm going to leave this off for now and get rid of this because, oh, wow. Now I've got the color data going, the position data, sorry, going to the color data. That's cool. But no, we could like multiply it by itself and change the whole color of the whole thing. Get a more dramatic kind of a look. Okay. So what are some more things we can try and do with this? Oh, you're welcome, Old My Basement Vibes. Always happy to answer questions. Yeah, well, the great thing about working in point cloud is that you're basically working in 2D. Like this is the 2D texture, and you just have to worry about camera movement, which is it's not the most difficult thing to deal with. And then the cool thing is that you can do your own like effects on it afterwards too. Like grab come out of here, put like a feedback loop at the end. Put change this to 16-bit float. Level and blur maybe. Over. Now you get an cool effects. Yeah, make this get rid of itself a bit. Get some cool like 2D effects on the point cloud. I think I like this better when it like stops, but if we like obviously you'd have much smoother camera motions. Uh, that's sort of cool. Looks pretty cool. All right, so some more things. Let me just home this. Ah, the homing spot's actually quite nice. Stick. Trying to work out what the best view of this scene is. So something that I like is like lines going across the scene. So like connecting some of these points with lines and having them rendered in the scene too. So I'm going to do something like that. So if we select, what do I want to do? Actually, that sounds like a little complex. I mean, I'll do the demo version of it first, but might be too processor heavy. So what I'm going to get is, there are some point cloud tools over here. And what I want is the point cloud repack, because this is super high resolution, but I want to take the resolution down. So I'm going to do this with the select. Select this guy. And let's say we do 10 by 10. Hello, cat. I don't know if you guys can hear the cat, but he's yelling at me. All right. So what we have here is a series of points that I'm going to connect with lines. So let's see if I still remember how to do this. What I want to go is, can I go top to that? No, I need to go top to. So there we have the position of a bunch of points. And I'm just going to rename these to TX, TY, TZ. We don't need the alpha channel. We get rid of that. And then I can go with a chop to dat. I've got, yeah, these like 10 of these points selected. Actually, I've only selected 10. I want to do the full image. So wait, this crop should be full image. And then I want, now I got 100 points, 100 XY points. And then I should be able to do a dat 2. Points. Yeah, the feedback does look nice when it's static. It's maybe I could, if you do really slow camera movements, I think it'd be cool too, but like the jerkiness of me like moving it around. All right, so what we have here is a bunch of these points, and if I hit wireframe, you can see they're all connected. And so I can just start rendering this. Now we have this, which is not what we want. We want a wireframe material. I've got lines between everything, which is sort of cool. But you can see each of these lines terminates in a single point. that we have. Ideally, I'd be able to make these lines the colors of the points that they are. Or what would be cool is if they were all selected from the position of the camera. I wonder how many lines I can have before this sort of breaks. So this is 10 by 10. Let's go 50 by 50. Okay. Oops. They all seem to be going back to these origin, like they're selecting points from around the far edges. So I wonder if I put a crop here. Now it's more like in the center. Adjust this wireframe's alpha to be, we need blending. Transparency. That's a bit crazy. Yeah, I think there should also be a way to like select points and do this to only points that are around in front of the camera. But I'm going to turn this off for now because it's not as quite as interesting as what we had before. So I remember seeing. So I remember seeing a cool point cloud thing on Instagram or something where it was like a forest, and then there was a bunch of like selecting a random area and making it like pull downwards into an abyss. I wonder if we can like select some random points and then just like do that similar effect. So let's try this. Leave that there. And we'll use our selector. Change this to that. Reset this to the origin. Okay. So the red shows us which points we're selecting. So that's like a lot of the points. We want to just grab a small area. Let's make this a little less intense. I still want to be able to, oh, okay. Still want to be able to see what I'm selecting, but maybe not as intensely. All right, so let's get this threshold down. So now we're just selecting these points. I think I want to get this whole area here. So I'm going to make this a bit wider. So we're selecting that area. And then soften the edges a little bit. And now I think the simplest way to do this effect is just to transform this downwards in a feedback loop. So let's try that. So I need to put in a feedback. Yeah, the lines are cool. I just want them to be the same color, and I want them to be a little bit more controllable. So I want to try something else first. Feedback, and then a point transform. The cat's name is Kevin. And he gets into moods sometimes where he just wants attention, which you can't really blame him for, but it can be. Oh, I don't need that. I need an ad. An ad? What am I doing here? Yeah. Oh, I don't even need anything because it's a transform. I just need a null. Feedback. And so if I transform maybe upwards a little bit, it's not. The whole thing is moving. And everything's whipping like crazy. It looks really cool, actually. Oh, I didn't know there were stairs here. This is cool. All right, that makes a really cool effect, but is absolutely not the effect we want. So let's reset that. Okay, I want just this area. Oh, I know how you do it. You use the second input of this, which this we take this into the point transform. Then we take this threshold as the mask. We don't need that reorder. Because this second input is a mask for the transform. So if we now, let's just test it. We don't need this multiply. We'll need this feedback in a second, but not right now. So if I translate this, yeah, all right, that's good. That's what we want. So now we're just translating this little section here. Let's zoom out so we can see it a bit better. And we might even bring this down a little bit, this threshold. That far. Trying to climb on the desk. I'm going to try and put this cat on my lap. Here is the little rascal that is causing all the issues. So I want him to stay in my lap, but he's going to try and climb all over my desk, which he isn't allowed to do. He's not allowed on the desk. So if he behaves, he can stay in my lap. All right, so I want to soften this a lot more. So we've got like more getting pulled down. It's more like a sinkhole kind of a vibe. So if we end up having something like that. Or you could have it like rising upwards. For some reason the downwards looks better. But I don't like the downwards because it's literally copied off someone else. All right. So let's try that with let's get rid of that red for now. We know what we've selected. It's a bit ugly. But let's try that feedback loop. So if we put this into the feedback, that into there, and now any kind of action I do on the feedback loop should, yeah. So now it constantly goes. I love how these are getting pulled in. Look at that. That's so cool. Okay, so this is sort of cool. I wonder what happens. Twist it while it's going down. And so we can easily reset this by just like pulsing the feedback. All right, Kevin. He's like lying down now, so. But I have to hold my arm to hold you in place. People are going to show up and like not know that there's a cat on my lap, and they'll be like, why is he just talking to a random person that is not in the room? All right, that's cool. What's especially cool is these yeah, there's a kitty. Is these effects. So reset that. This, how this starts swirling like crazy as it goes down. It's because it's like changing position in the noise. Um, so I might just put in a little keyboard in. Two. And this is going to control the feedback. That is better. All right, he just changed position on my lap so that it's a lot more comfortable. All right, so now I can pulse the feedback by just hitting the 2 key on my keyboard. I don't have to go and navigate. So I wonder if we try some other things, if we rotate this, maybe around the y-axis while it's doing it. That's cool. Makes like a vortex. I love that you can just like see the little like shrine thing. And this getting pulled into the vortex. That's super cool. Especially this bit where it starts and starts like pulling that. Make this a little wider maybe. Get a little bit more of that tree pulled in. It just looks so cool when it first goes through. I just want to try and pull more of that in. So where's this threshold? Soften it even more, maybe. Yeah. I'm glad we're able to serve the humor as well as the art. Yeah. Probably too much of a vortex right there. That's cool. But yeah, probably too much. I'll go back to one maybe. Or two. Or even less. Cannot get over how cool that looks when it gets pulled in like that. Windows are going all crazy. It needs to go down a bit faster. The shrine still intact. It's the first time I've seen something like this too. I'm literally making this up on the spot. All right. I wonder if we bring those lines back in, if some of the lines are in the vortex. I think it's. Wait, why are these lines out here? Are there particles all the way out there? Did the particles start tracking not properly? There shouldn't be particles out here, I don't think. I think it's probably too many. Okay, like 20 by 20. I just don't know if there are really actual particles out here. Ah, that's the problem. I had to set it to nearest pixel. It wasn't on nearest pixel. That's crazy. That looks so epic. Let's just try and. I'm gonna record this just because it looks cool. Wonder how it looks with blur. Not quite as interesting. All right, time to use my trusty movie file out top. I'm gonna call this uh, to real time. Super cool. I always forget to like render things for posting. So I'm remembering now. Remembering to render. I think it looks best from this angle. Wait, I wonder. Wait, let me just record this too. Yeah, it does sort of look like a diamond mine, doesn't it? All right, that's another recording. Cool. Now, I realize that you can probably get the RGB into this table because you have points. Just save this for a second. And if I go on to operator snippets, can you add the color in here? See, like, all right, so you've got UV and N, so you can add normals, but can you add colors? Point weight and point. Okay, the cat is off my lap now. Just before I try this, I want to see what it looks like going up, because I think it'll look pretty cool going up. We change the translate to coming back up. Pattern chop plus count to see variations of each pulse. Yeah, definitely. Get different options. You could have it go so deep. Oh my god. It's coming back up right now, but because I just changed the transform. But it's just in so deep. Like, all right, there it is, coming up. So if we go into our scene, it's home. It's going to come out of the ground and then start raising into the sky. Comes. The shrine flying. It's so twisted up right now, though. Like, you can see how many twists. They're really uniform. I'm not sure I like how uniform that twist is. If I reset it, the twist should be less uniform. Ah, yes, look at that. You can see the way the noise keeps looping it through like that. That's so cool. All right, I think I got to record this one too because it just looks so cool. Recording this one too for sure. Go back to real time. Set it a bunch. Hello, anti-alias. Yeah, we're just playing with some point clouds, trying to see what we can make, and yeah, having a lot of fun. That's enough for that record. It probably moves up a little too fast. Oh, actually, I bet it looks really cool from up here, like a top-down view. That's nice. I think I should make it all like a lot slower. Yeah, there are super cool vortex vibes. Especially when it goes downwards. I had it going down before. I'll put it back to going down. You can see the sinkhole it generates. All right, I wanted to get color into these points. So wait, I'm just going to do a quick little experiment. If I get a... Yeah, the twist is in here, all tops. So basically selecting a point with a threshold for how wide you want it to be. So now it's selecting obviously a whole lot more. I've totally like messed the scene up right now. Now it's all just one giant vortex. Yeah, then that's just like going through a feedback loop with a point transform in it to transform it down the hole. It looks pretty cool. So I want to get that. Wait, I'm just going to pause this. Save a still of that. Yeah, yeah, I like the lines a lot more now. I really want to get them in the right color. There are so many good angles of this. Wait, I want to record this one too. If I pause that there. Actually, maybe like move it down a bit. Really cool angle. Okay, so I want to get these lines to have the colors of the points. I'm going to do a quick experiment. If I do like a, what's something, just do a sphere. What's the wireframe of that? Let's make that up. Put in a point sub. Uh, and now if I go Stop. And do stop to that. Yeah. Stop to. All right. So now we've got, yeah, CD 0, 1, 2, 3 for the point colors. And if I go into this DAT2 point stat, it's tiny, but you can see that the colors are attached to the points, which is exactly what I want, because I want all these lines to be colored the same as the points. So let me just put this back to this. So now I need to do the same thing with this. So I need to select color, a top select. So all these white lines, what I'm going to do right now is make them all the colors of the points that they attach to. I think that should make for a more interesting kind of look. So I want to select color. Go into this crop. So this is doing exactly the same as this. Then point repack. Oh, doing all the same things. All right, now these are the point colors. This is all in RGB values. So now I need to make a table that looks like this. So I need like an index. Do I need an index? Maybe I don't need an index, but let's just organize this a bit better. So I'm going to put a null. Put that there, and this is going to be the point stat. And then I'm going to collapse all of this. It's going to be cool. Generate. Okay, now I've got a bit more space to work without making everything all messy. So that's the output. And so I want to pack these into a table. And so we go with, I think it's a merge. Yeah. Merge. And we need to go append columns. So now we've got our points as different columns. And then I'm just going to, I don't know if I need to do this. Oh, I think I do need to add an extra column in. Well, let's just try this. So these labels say what attribute is in each column. So I'm going to add them in just so we have that reference. So I'm going to put a insert and one row before first. And I'm going to copy what was in here. So we need P0. One, P2. So I don't know if I need to have this PW in, but then I need CD0, CD1, CD2. Okay, so now you can see we've got these titles up here. So I'm hoping that this now works. Hey, that looks right. Awesome. Okay, so now instead of the lines being white, they're now taking the color of... I'm so glad that worked so instantly. So now we have the whatever colors are in the scene. Awesome. And you can see, yeah, these are the colors, and they sort of fade between the 2 points, but that is exactly what we wanted to do. And just adjust this wireframe because I made this have a low alpha. Make it a bit... Check. Let's just prove that that works if I put in a noise. Oop, not an NDI yet. Noise. Gonna hit save on this before we do anything more. And off, output is noise. Now you see the line colors have changed to... We can change this into the lookup of the noise. Increase that period a bunch. The line colors stay correct. These green ones are connected to green. The orange ones are connected to orange. And if we change the seed or the noise, something like that. Looks sort of like vomit, but all right. We don't need to keep doing that. Realistic colors are good. I might want to adjust them a little bit there. Maybe actually, or a lot. I think probably a lot is going to be the way to go in the end. But if I just add a little bit more contrast, a little bit more. Just slightly more saturated. I wonder what happens if we like transform this over. What's happening? You get a sideways vortex. Looks cool. That might be another cool still to pull. Just gonna wait for it to get a little bit more twisted, and then that's good. Cool. All right, what else can we do? I wonder if this I'm gonna get rid of that. Translate. I wonder if we can add multiples to this constant, because I didn't design this little bit, this little like Pythagoras theorem math thing to select an area. I don't know if you can do multiples, like multiple different areas. So I'm going to try it though. So I'm going to put in a noise. Oh, something that might also be cool is having this like move around. Like if we're here, we start maybe translating this way. It's going to like stop and start pulling other areas. I should go the other direction. You have it like moving through. Freezing out that and then making it wider. But anyway, let's just set that back for now. So I want a noise, and I want it to be 4 by 4. Only one way to know. Yeah. I'm learning so much here. I don't know how to, like, once you know some principles, you just got to start playing with it and just like working out how things work. All right. So 4 by 4 noise. I'm going to change this to nearest pixel. Nearest pixel. Actually, no, we're even just going to go less so I can see this 2 by 2. And then we're going to go with an over. Deposit this over this. And fill is going to be how we're going to do it. And this is going to be 32-bit float. And be monochrome. So we should have selected 4 different points here. Blow up. All right, so we should have selected 4 different points, and they should. So I want like whirlpools at these 4 different point positions, and I don't know if this like equation math thing here works that way, but we're about to see. So keep going nearest pixel, nearest pixel. I just want to see. Let's reset the Nomo rotation, and I'm going to go upwards at 0.1. So I'm going to change the threshold down a bit so we get like a really thin softness down a lot. Threshold down even more. All right, so we've got like this really thin area that I'm selecting. I'm like literally just selecting the top of the shrine, and I want like multiple of these across the place. So I just want to see how I can move this. If I move this, so X, about 8 to, so like let's go 0 to 8 on the X. I'm just trying to find out which ranges I can use. So it's like 0 to 8 on the X axis. Now in the Y axis, actually, I don't think we should change the Y axis. The Y axis should be the same. It's the Z axis that I need to. All right, so there's 3. So I think we need negative z-axes. Yeah, so I'm just going to do a little quick math here. This is nearest pixel. And so the R range 0 to 1 is going to be 0 to 8. The G range, so that's the y-axis, we want that to be not anything, 0 to 0. And the b-axis is going to be like -4 to, no, like -2 to 8. That's just a guess, but yeah, let's see. Oh no, we want negative x. We need 2 to -8. All right, now's the moment of truth. I think it's not going to work. Oh no, it seems to work, I think. Hey, the math works. All right, so now I've got 4 different points that sort of go up. Exactly what we wanted. And then if we randomize this noise, it's a different 4 points. Amazing. Randomize the noise again. And increase the amplitude. That's great. That means that we can like select random areas, just random localized areas, and then apply these kind of effects. So if maybe we make like, change the resolution. We go like 8 by 8. But then we increase this amplitude. So we're not going to get every one of them on the thing. I feel like now we get none of them on the thing. And now we can make a bunch more vortexes. So let's increase these. So we have random ones each time. We're sure we want random ones every time. All right, I'll do that. Okay. Let's just go to account. All right. Now every time I reset it, it picks random points. Go a little fast and a little. Okay, it's too much. Now we're just like creating random tower structures. All right, now we can make each of these into vortexes. So we'll go minus 0.02. I think it was like 0.3 that we had on the twist. Oh, this is interesting actually. They're not going to twist around their own. Yeah. They're going to twist around one axis. So each vortex is not going to. They're going to start from individual points. That was so good. We need to make this twist a lot slower. Now, yeah, all right, so we can just go upside down. You see, they're all going to twist around the one pivot point. They're not going to twist individually into vortexes. But that's still cool. It's actually probably cooler without the twist, I think. So there can be single vortexes and twists, but if we're doing it this way, I'd say just get back in here. Checking everything was on nearest pixel. I think there are probably too many of them. We'll go back to 4x4. Yeah, there we go. I get like clearer. Yeah, you would need a replicator to do individual twists. I can't be bothered doing that right now, but yeah, because you'd need an individual point transform for every single one of the. Or no, no, that would be the best way to do it. I was thinking if there's a way that you could use textures to do it, but you can't really rotate with a texture. Actually, there probably is a way to do it with like cos or some kind of one of those sine or cos or tan or something. So the thing about this method is it doesn't create holes. Like there are some still left. Like there's still stuff left there, whereas the other way it does. So maybe it's not working quite as well as I thought it was. I feel like this is actually not working like I want it to. Because it's only picking the points in those areas. All right. I think it might be time for something else. Because it's picking some of the points, but not all the points. Another cool thing, let's just get rid of that for now. Soften. threshold. Yeah, the single point is really cool, especially when you do it. I wonder what happens if we add like a noise in here. So I'm just going to add a noise into this feedback loop, looking up the pixels. Noise. Oh, I can just do it with this input. Do nothing right now, but then when we increase the amplitude, oh wait, it's doing it to the full thing. That's because it's not being masked like the transform is. So I need to mask it with this. I think it's going to be a multiplier, right? So it's just going to be the noise. Multiplied by that. Way too much. But we don't want it like that. We still want it to look up the. Now we can increase the amplitude again. Increase the period a bunch. Yeah, swirlies happening. We can transform this noise. And I wonder if we add the rotation back in. What goes out sideways? It's sort of cool that you can just like move this around and it'll. because there's two noises working on it at once. You could make that a bit wider. Maybe not. I didn't like that as much. I don't like that as much. I think it's maybe because these guys go a little bit crazy in the noise. Like it's cool when it's here, but when it gets stretched out, actually, I guess that works fine for me. Might record that one actually. I like shooting from this origin because it's like all these lines go out from this one main point. Sort of close to that main point now. And then I want to move this like slightly. All right. The next step would probably be trying to like move through the scene in an effective way. I wonder if that looks cool from underneath. All right, what else? Still live. Yeah. No dropped frames. Holy shit. Cool. Okay. I think we might try another point cloud just for a second. Can always come back to this one. Always be waiting there.